Hi everyone! Today we're going to show you how you can solve linear inequations. But first, what is an algebraic inequation? And what do number lines have to do with it? And we have some rules for inequations and an example. So what is an algebraic inequation? An algebraic inequation is a mathematical sentence which compares the values of two expressions using one of those signs. But what do these signs mean? We note this sign is greater than. This sign means less than. Greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to. We can see that it's or equal to because of the little line underneath. It comes from our equal sign. You really must remember those symbols, so if you didn't, then please write these down in your notebook. Alright, so let's have a look what number lines have to do with it. A linear inequation is true for many values of the variable. For example, x is 2 only has one possible value, and that's 2, because it's exactly 2. However, if we talk about x is larger than 2, we talk about any number greater than 2. So for instance, 3, 4, 7.2, 1001, but also a million, 6 million, a billion, and so on. Therefore, we need to use number lines to show what we mean. And this is an example how we could show that x is greater or larger than 2. So we draw a number line. What is really important for the number line are those two arrows. They tell us that the number line goes on and on and on. So in a test, you must write down those arrows. What you can see as well is a third arrow, which is this one. And that one is an important one as well, since this one tells you that it goes beyond 7, it goes to infinite. The next part, which is super important, and I shall use a different color, is the circle over here. As you can see, it's an open circle. An open circle means that it's larger than, but not equal to. If it was a closed circle, so for instance this one, and this was for instance 2, then we would say that this is x is larger or equal to 2. So that's the big difference between an open circle and a closed circle. So let's have a look at the rules for inequations, and those are really important. If we swap the left-hand side and the right-hand side, we reverse the inequation sign. That means that 1 is smaller than x is the same as x is larger than 1. If we add to or subtract from both sides of an inequation, the sign stays the same. So if you want to solve x plus 3 is larger than 1, we would subtract 3 on both sides, and then we know that x is larger than minus 2. Nothing happens with the sign. It just stays the same. And if we use the second rule, then we can see that minus 2 is less than x. You see it? We just reverse the sign, but it still stays the same. Since if we have a look from the right to left, if you read it that way, it says x is larger than minus 2. Our last rule, and I think our most important rule, is if we multiply or divide both sides by a positive number, we keep the same inequation sign. So it just stays the same, just as it was over here. I'm sorry. However, if we multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, we reverse the inequation sign. Alright, let's show you some examples. You want to solve 11 minus 4b is smaller than or equal to 4. Just solve it like you would do with an equation. So we're going to subtract minus 11 from both sides, since we want to have all letters on the left-hand side and all numbers on the right-hand side. You get minus 4b is smaller than or equal to minus 7. Now we're going to divide everything by minus 4, since we want to have b only. However, now comes our rule. We divided both sides. We divided it by a negative number, so we need to reverse the inequation sign. That means that we swap those signs around. So we get b is larger than or equal to 7 over 4. And we can simplify this, but we need to write it underneath. So b is smaller than or equal to 1/3 over 4. Our last step is, and that's a step that you must do always, also in your tests, you must draw a number line. In this case, it's a closed circle since it's larger than or equal to 1/3. Do not forget your arrows, please. And state what it is. So 1/3. Please practice this a lot. And if you have any questions, please let me know.